Last night, we reported that a local funeral home owner is under investigation for theft. Harold Chip Lampson is the owner of Lampson's Funeral Home, and according to his website, he operates locations in Danforth, East Millinocket, Lincoln, and Millinocket. Alyssa Thurlow spoke to a couple of clients' family members who are still waiting for answers from Lampson.
Harold Chip Lampson is under investigation for theft and is also facing several complaints filed against him with the Maine Board of Funeral Service. Through a Freedom of Access Act, TV5 obtained copies of 9 complaints filed against Lampson. One was filed by a town official who claimed that they often get complaints from family members regarding mistakes on headstones, death records, and obtaining certified copies of death certificates. Many of his clients' family members are now calling on Lampson to lose his license.
He just doesn't seem to do good business. He needs to give people back their things, and he should truly be ashamed of himself for doing this stuff.
Brittany Bell of Wynn is just one of many family members who are outraged at Harold Chip Lampson. According to the Lampson Funeral Home website, Lampson operates locations in Lincoln, Millinocket, East Millinocket, and Danforth. It's unclear if Lampson is still operating at these locations. On Thursday, authorities say they conducted searches at 2 locations, one in Lincoln and the other in Millinocket. It's alleged that Lampson has misused funds from funeral trusts through his business. No charges have been filed at this point. The pending complaints against Lampson pertain to issues with mortuary trusts, deficiency with funeral services, and failing to communicate with families, and so on.
When is there this? When, it's always you had to keep on them and on them and on them.
Bell says she's missing 2 pieces of jewelry that belonged to her grandfather.
And when I asked the funeral home, okay, can I have his jewelry? They said, well, we don't have it. We don't know where it is or what happened to it. And I asked him, is there a possibility that you cremated him with it? Because if so, it's okay. And they're like, oh, no, we don't do that. We just don't know where it is.
Many families have not received closure and are still waiting to have services or items returned to them. Jamie Bernier says her family purchased memorial candles after her grandfather passed away in September. The funeral home misprinted the date. On top of that, she says they're still waiting to hear back on when his burial will be this spring.
Honestly, I just feel really bad that people were taken advantage of at their most vulnerable time. That's the last thing that you want to deal with when you're going through losing a loved one.
If he's running around robbing families, you shouldn't be in that industry, because he's probably just going to continue to do it unless someone, puts a stop to him.
While police have received reports from several victims, they suspect there may be others affected. If you believe you or someone you know may have been impacted, you can contact Detective Jacobs with the Lincoln Police Department or contact any officer at the East Millinocket Police Department. A hearing by the Board of Funeral Services is scheduled for Tuesday to address the pending complaints against Lampson. There is a virtual option to watch. We'll have a link to that on our website and mobile app. We have reached out to Lampson by phone and have not heard back. Reporting for TV5 Investigates, Alyssa Thurlow, WABI, TV5 News.